Greetings, Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Sunday, March 12th. And today we are focusing on 3 ways that things are different now that Saturn is in Pisces. So I thought we would take a little bit of a deeper look now that we're in the Saturn in Pisces lived experience, what might be showing up for you, how that might feel, and sort of, what's going on, right? So we've also been talking about we're in the Pisces moon cycle. We're currently on March 12th. Moon is in Scorpio. So we've had this lot of water energy and a lot of this background theme of the intangible of things that are hard to put into words. And here I am sharing with you and trying to articulate things that are hard to put into words. So thank you for bearing with me, because it affects all of us, right? And it affects the way that we experience and communicate. So we're working with this energy of Saturn being in Pisces, and just to hit these main topics, 3 ways that you might be noticing the Saturn in Pisces energy showing up. Number 1, in your dreams. Have you had vivid or dreams that are really speaking to you, more dreams than usual, dreams so Pisces is the energy of the bigger picture outside of how we form and shape and understand ordinary reality. And dreams, of course, are one of those ways that we go into a state that is outside of ordinary reality. We can do things differently in our dreams, right? We have kind of have those limitations lifted in our dreams. So dream work is a fascinating area to look into. But the way that energies, communications, messages, information might be showing up in your dreams. Also, the way that energy is flowing, sort of, you might be having appearances in your dreams from loved ones who have passed, spirits, spirit beings, right? There's just like the veil is lifted. There's this feeling of an experience of connection with all that is, with the flow of energies that are normally off limits or not accessible to us. And so an opening to some of those more profound forms of communication, of synchronicity. So things showing up that have meaning to you, even though they may not be explainable in the everyday logical terms. So dreams, communications, ancestors, themes of spirit beings, spirit guides, bigger picture of wisdom, how that is speaking to you. And it may be showing up in your dreams. It might be showing up in synchronistic moments happening in your life, psychic information showing up, little things that happen that are kind of a way of things all coming together in a moment that is unexplainable, but it has meaning, and it impacts us. And that's the important thing, is that if it impacts us, right, as human beings, it has a kind of reality, right? It's a reality that we're experiencing through, it's just not ordinary reality. Okay, so you might be having more moments like that. You might be noticing dreams showing up, meaning and significant things moving, evolving, unfolding in your dreams, paying attention to your dreams, but also recognizing that you're not going to remember everything. There's a lot going on in your dreams. You may not remember it all. That doesn't mean it's not happening. So there's a lot going on maybe in your unconscious or under the surface that is on a healing level, right? Is energy moving, unfolding, things reorganizing inside of you in ways that are supportive to the greater good and to your own well-being. So allowing that process to happen, trusting that process. You might, wake up feeling rested or not rested, or, as though you've been working on something in your sleep. So there's that. Okay, Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn is in Pisces, but Neptune has been in Pisces for many years now. So Saturn brings this energy of the tangible, of form, of anyway, so many things that are happening with the energy of Saturn. But before I get into that, I'm feeling myself just kind of expanding into all the information and topics that are here. And I want to try and stay on track and stay organized a little bit with my thinking. So, okay. So we talked about dreams and psychic information and the flow of information and the processing of information that is happening on bigger levels. So the second thing that feels different with Saturn in Pisces is that you may feel this experience of being unmoored. That that is such a great word, because it's really like, kind of untethered from the moorings, right? The things that normally hold you and keep you steady and stable and make it so that you know who you are and where you belong. You may feel adrift in the great ocean of being. You may be waking up kind of not knowing where your bearings are, encountering your life and the all the normal things that show up in your life that are part of your daily life might feel different, might feel confusing, because you're starting to access a bigger picture of information. So as you become aware of the greater ocean of being that is around you, you also have this experience of not knowing which way is up, which direction you're going. Especially if you're normally a very earthy person, which I am. So there's that there's that experience of dissolving of the things that normally give structure and organization to your life. And so you may feel unmoored, you may feel like you are a little bit adrift or confused or not sure where you're being carried or what's happening, or we've had in our weather, I don't know, about the rest of the country, but in our weather, we've had a lot of storms, and rain and snow and kind of weird things happening. And so that feeling of unpredictability of weather happening, which is really about that bigger picture of context. And so the context that we're in is not steady or predictable. It's not so much that that steadiness or predictability has gone away, so much as it is that we are accessing a much bigger picture of awareness. And in that bigger picture of awareness, we can feel confused because the things that we normally use to orient and guide ourselves, the metaphorical signs and guideposts and guardrails of life, are a little hazy. It's like, well, yeah, that guardrail is there, but you could, pay attention to it or not. Like, what do you feel? What do you want? How do you want that to go? What's in the flow? So things that we normally think of as concrete and stable and predictable are a lot more fluid. So you might be feeling that. And I'm putting that under the category of feeling unmoored. So we've got dreams, focusing on dreams, feeling unmoored, feeling a little bit lost or confused in the bigger awareness that is opening up. And then that brings us to number 3, which is that we are actually, what's happening is like accessing a bigger picture of awareness than we normally are privy to. So, if you've been asleep and you suddenly wake up, or you've been awake and you fall asleep and you have a dream and things suddenly shift into a greater awareness, like think of those moments when you suddenly realize something, you have an epiphany or an aha moment, and a moment of awareness of accessing new information, new connections, new ways of seeing things. What it can feel like is that you're actually expanding into possibilities that you couldn't see before, the ability to make connections and solve problems that you couldn't see before. So that is happening on a grand scale as we are becoming aware that we are on this greater ocean of being. We are opening to it's not like it's happening to us. I guess is what I want to say, is that we are being made aware of this bigger picture of information that is out there through spiritual wisdom, through a bigger picture of knowing, through access to communication from beyond, from, whether it's spirit guides or loved ones showing up in your dreams, or simply your own ability to know a lot more things than you knew last week. And all of a sudden you have access to this information and you're not sure what to do with it, right? Where to put it. It's like expansion into just a greater sense of infinite possibility, or new information, or going beyond where you have previously been. So expanding into this bigger picture of being, of truth, of awareness, that is the third thing that feels different. And a depth of information that you haven't previously been plugged into, is now available, and it can be kind of hard to sort out, okay, what do I want? What do I not want? What has meaning for me? What's part of the noise? Just having, on the one hand, it's wonderful to have those decisions to make because you have access to all of this bigger picture of information. But on the other hand, it can feel confusing and or overwhelming to try to sort through it, to find your bearings within that bigger picture of all that is, right? The great ocean of being, and access to everything that we have access to when we're dreaming, everything that we have access to through greater psychic awareness, and the movement of information that is instantaneous. Mercury is also in Pisces, and Mercury is the planet of communication. And so that the feeling of communication being instantaneous, being psychic, but also we don't really have control over it. We don't really have a structure that makes it all make sense. So we're experiencing that instantaneous flow of information, but then we've also got to sort through it, make sense of it, figure out what to do with it, figure out who we are and how we operate within this new awareness. Saturn is in Pisces now and will stay in Pisces until 2026. So when Saturn goes into Aries and will form a conjunction with Neptune. So in a way, what's happening as Saturn goes through Pisces and Neptune is now in the later degrees, the last few degrees of Pisces, Saturn is good, moves just a little bit faster than Neptune. So it's closing in on Neptune. It's heading toward its conjunction with Neptune. It's also another way to think about it is it's completing its cycle. The Saturn-Neptune cycle is coming to an end as Saturn approaches Neptune to form that conjunction and plant the seed of a new cycle. So as we go through these this next 3 years of Saturn moving through Pisces, coming closer to Neptune, and Neptune completing its last few degrees of Pisces, we're going to be working out some of these themes of what does it mean to have access to a bigger picture of awareness. What do we do with that? How do we organize within it? How do we make sense of it? Who are we? How do we understand and navigate within the context of having access to this much bigger picture of awareness? So there is so much to these energies, and I know that I have talked in previous videos about about the energy of Saturn being about effort and hard work and discipline and structures and putting practices in place, creating structures. So the work of Saturn being in Pisces in part will be this work of figuring out how to integrate a bigger picture of infinite possibility into the structures and the daily ways of operating, the systems that we have in place, the and institutions in the collective. So Saturn helps us organize, it helps us put things in place, it helps create form and structure, and it will help us to take and make sense of this bigger picture of the infinite, the divine, right? Spirit and spirituality, and put some of the bigger awareness into tangible form. So some words that I love, and as a Capricorn, these are things that I love to play with, is the idea of bringing a bigger picture of energy, bringing energy, the intangible, which could be an idea, it could be a vision, it could be a dream, but bringing these intangible things into form, and how we make them into a form that we can use and experience and help to organize our lives and our way of understanding reality here in our lives on the earth plane. So some words that I love, manifest, right? Manifest is how we take something that we imagine and we make it real. We put it into tangible form. Manifest, create. Create is a way of making something new that hasn't existed before. Concretize, right? Making something concrete. Crystallize, bringing it into crystalline form. Another one is reify. I love the word reify. Reify means to make something a thing, to make a thing, to make it, whatever, something nebulous into a thing. And so these are words that we can be thinking about with Saturn in Pisces, is how do we make the intangible tangible? How do we, how is what is happening or what we're noticing, what's coming into our awareness about the bigger picture of energy, of spirit, of spirituality, of heart, of love, of our bigger picture of who we are, right? As spiritual beings, not just human beings, but also spiritual beings. How are some of those bigger truths needing to be integrated, implemented, put into form, created into our everyday experience of reality? So again, you know, these are big concepts, but what we want to be thinking about with Saturn in Pisces is how that bigger picture of spirit, of love, of the divine, how that is coming into our work, how it is coming into the things that we create, how it is coming into the ways that we understand, the way we operate, the ways we understand the world and how the world works and who we are within the world, the ways that we do things, the ways that we approach things, the ways that we think about things, our beliefs, right? A belief is a way of anchoring ourselves in the context of the infinite. And remember, infinity is great. Infinity is wonderful. It's like the infinite resources and love of the universe, but also the infinite needs a manifestation. It needs to show up in a way that we can use, that we can bring into our ordinary lives. So infinite is not so helpful when we're trying to pay the bills or figure out how to make our creative projects come to fruition or whatever it is. So what we're doing with Saturn in Pisces is we are taking the infinite and we are figuring out how to make it tangible, how to put it into our structures, and how that needs to guide our beliefs and understanding about how the world works. So, thinking about systems and structures and how they need to come into alignment with a bigger truth, a bigger flow, a bigger picture, and how our systems and structures, which is what we've been working on with Pluto in Capricorn and Saturn in Capricorn and Jupiter, the Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter triple conjunction in Capricorn in 2020. These are themes that we've had in recent history about our systems, our structures, and our institutions, and how they are needing to be upgraded, be adapted to more of our modern life, letting go of some of the ways that they're not working, not serving us anymore, and bringing them into who we are, how they can serve who we are becoming, right? So institutions need to adapt. Social structures need to be upgraded to match how we are evolving. And with Saturn in Pisces, it's bringing in this opportunity to really connect with that bigger picture. So as you go through this process of noticing your dreams, of feeling unmoored, of feeling like, all these synchronicities are happening, but what does it mean? What's happening is that a bigger picture is speaking to you. It is actually letting you know, like, here are some possibilities, and you are going to choose how to navigate within that, and how to take what's useful, and how to create structures and systems in the world, ways of organizing, ways of understanding that can incorporate more of the flow of love, that can be more compassionate, that can be more flowing, that can be more caring and adaptable and flexible, and so much, just about how we need to be more human, more kind, more caring in our systems and structures. And across the board, we can see how that shows up in our daily lives, from just the ways that technology has taken over, and you're now on hold waiting to talk to a overworked customer service person instead of really developing a relationship with a human being who might be able to care about your situation and help you. That's just a really simple example, but of course we've got issues of homelessness, issues of hunger and poverty in the world that we need to address. And Saturn in Pisces is going to really bring that into our faces and say, what are you going to do about this? How are you going to update, upgrade, adapt your systems and structures through creating, manifesting, reifying these intangible energies about caring, about love, about compassion, and how to bring those intangible qualities into the everyday structures and systems by which we operate. So we've got these issues and themes coming up. We have certainly the potential for confusion, losing track of our guideposts and who we are, and losing an ability to stay organized. But ultimately what this is about creating better organization to hold the bigness and the love of who we really can be as human beings, and how we can embody more spiritual principles, more ethical ways of being in the world, right? That more humanitarian, more compassionate, more caring. So these are big picture themes. Just as always, I want to remind you that it always begins with you and how kind and caring and compassionate you are toward yourself, because you are a microcosm of the bigger world. And so in your daily life, look at what are the ways that you can have routines, have systems, have ways of taking care of yourself that are bringing in a bigger picture of kindness, of caring, of recognizing what you really need as a human being, how the ways that you need love, the ways that you need support, the ways that you need kindness and patience. And it's not unrealistic to need those things, right? It's not that you should be adapting yourself to have less needs. It's that the world, which is infinite in its ability to provide, needs to have an organizing structure that allows for trust in the flow, to trust that your needs can be met, to trust that there is enough. There's enough for you. There's enough for your neighbors. There's enough to, that we are creative and clever and wise enough to figure out how to feed people on this planet. We just have to do it. So starting with your own life, starting with your own corner of the world, and how you are taking care of yourself, how you are trusting this bigger picture of flow, how you are trusting that your needs will be met, how you are trusting that love is unconditional, and that you are it's not you being unreasonable to have needs. It's actually that the world needs to, and the bigger picture of your life structures and support systems need to be there for you in your human needs. And so trusting that is possible, trusting in the creative problem solving that is available through this Saturn and Pisces, right? We might feel lost initially. We might feel unmoored. We might feel confused about how to go forward. But ultimately, what is happening is that we are being infused with a bigger picture of possibility, a greater ability to access the infinite flow of love and resources that in the spiritual picture the universe has for us. And then our own openness to that flow and to the ability to receive that flow and have it be supporting us and holding us in our lives and our life process. So just to recap here, I know I kind of talked about a lot. looking at 3 ways that life is different with Saturn and Pisces. One is dreams, energy, information showing up in your dreams, healing processes maybe showing up in your dreams, even if you don't remember or understand what's going on in your dreams. And also, by the way, it's not just dreams like dreams when you're sleeping, but dreams, like your dreams, how you dream about the world, your imagination about what your life could be like and how the world could be. And so your capacity to connect with that bigger picture of infinite possibility and the love of the divine and what it is inviting us to expand into and become. So number 1 was dreams. Number 2 was feeling unmoored. You may feel lost, confused, adrift. And so just recognizing that that is part of a process of you coming into awareness of this bigger picture of all that is, of all the ways and the kinds of information and support that are out there for you and for the world. So feeling unmoored, and 3, feeling and accessing a depth of information that you haven't had before. So openness to this flood of information, awareness, psychic connections, possibilities, like the feeling of the flooding through of love at unexpected moments, and really like could be out of the blue. You could experience this synchronistic connection or access or tapping into or feeling the flow of something that is truly and deeply supportive to you, that you didn't necessarily control. It's about opening to it. And so in the moment, when you are learning to trust more deeply, that flow can show up and show up at unexpected moments and bring you that flow of the infinite. And then so much that we talked about related to how that shows up in our daily lives, how this energy and information is helping us to connect with the bigger picture and bring that into manifest, reify, create, concretize those energies into our daily lives, what that looks like, how we can begin more and more over time to get more organized around the possible and not the limitations. So we may be feeling some limitations with Saturn. Saturn is about limitations, but ultimately what we are learning, what the potential is here, is for us to put that bigger picture of the infinite into the forms and structures of our lives, which is what Saturn represents. So, okay, I'm sure there's so much more, but I think I'll call it good there for today. Thank you so much for being here with me. I'm going to be coming on to share more with you about Pluto going into Aquarius. There's just so much shift and change right now. And of course, we are now past the full moon. So we're heading into the Aries new moon and the spring equinox and the new beginnings, rebirth time of the year, the emergence of life and what that looks like. And then, of course, Pluto going into Aquarius, which is a huge shift in energies and qualities of what we're living through in this time period and dealing with in the collective, and what it means for us in terms of changing energies, breaking free of old molds, old restrictions, old limitations, just the beauty of how life evolves, how evolution unfolds, and how our healing process can continue. So I thank you for being here with me and for flowing with me as I try to find words to describe some of these intangible qualities, and hope it's been helpful for you. I'd love to hear what you're noticing, what you have questions about, what you want to hear more about from me. And of course, you can learn about me and working with me at astrologyheals.com. You can find my books there, all about astrology and how to work with the cycles and your own healing process, available at astrologyheals.com. And I do thank you for being here, for subscribing to this YouTube channel, which really supports my work, and for all your likes, and just for being here, and all that you're doing for yourself, because it does make a difference. All right, thanks again, and I will see you next time here every day with the astrology of unshakable self-care, as we follow the moon cycles and more to support your own self-care and discovery of who you are and what you're capable of. All right, bye for now.